G'day everyone, Chris from Primac Sports. Welcome to our third round of NRL previews. After the success of last week, we'll again release the vlog in 3 parts this week. So it'll be the Thursday and Friday games in part 1, Super Saturday in part 2, and Sunday and Monday in part 3. As you'll notice, my offside Crowles is notably missing in action. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing for those of you watching at home. Unlike Parramatta, our staffing decisions here aren't salary cap related. Crowles has claimed that he's off on a bit of a research mission in Sydney to get a little bit more inside information on some of the sides down there. It seems to me like he's off on a jaunt. He'll probably come back knowing a little more than he did before he left, with his knowledge on the game having been added to as much recently and as frequently as his beloved Sharks have added to their trophy cabinet. Round 2 is a cracker and a few sides continue to surprise, some positively, the Tigers and my injury hit Raiders, while others struggle along, with struggle being a generous term, and I'm looking at you, Manly and Newcastle. Absolutely diabolical in their output so far. Injuries and touching the referee has been the big issues of the previous round, with the latest news to come out breaking at the moment that David Klemmer has been found not guilty of his charge of contrary conduct for touching referee Ben Cummins and will be free to play this weekend. I'm not going to delve into it too much on here. Most of the issues that arise over the weekend, especially that one with David Klemmer, I have addressed on my Snapchat story, which is below. Feel free to give me a follow. And keep up to date with my opinions and what we've got to say in regards to all of the breaking news and issues that are going on during the round. Round 3 promises some cracking fixtures, and I for one certainly cannot wait. First up on Thursday night, we've got the Cowboys and the Roosters. The defending premiers will line up with the same 17. Jake Granville will return to the starting lineup for Rory Kos-Jason. While the Roosters, Vincent Lulalai is out, youngster Mitchell Fry's handed his debut from the bench, and Aloni Vunakisi and Brendan Elliott have been named on an extended bench. The Cowboys looked to touch fatigue at times in their game against the Eels last week, where they dropped the 2 competition points. And both they and the Roosters are facing a 5-day turnaround from big matches last week, with the Cowboys on the slightly shorter one with the Saturday night matchup versus the Roosters Saturday afternoon in the heat against Canberra. It appears coach Trent Robinson has pulled the pin on the Blake Ferguson experiment at fullback with Latrell Mitchell named in the number 1 jersey, and not a moment too soon. The last time an experiment with Blake Ferguson was this unsuccessful. It involved Bacardi Breezes, Josh Jurgen and a rooftop party. I've got the Cowboys 1-12 here, and I think the fatigue of the short turnaround will have them battling a touch. I think the Roosters will step up a little more with Mitchell settled into the fullback role. So as I said, it'll be the Cowboys 1-12 for me, while Crowles in his absence has sent through his tips. He's leaning the Cowboys to take this one out with a blowout, going to Cowboys 13+. On Friday night, we see the Bulldogs take on the Eels. Kerrod Holland returns to New South Wales Cup for a fit again, Chase Stanley to make his way back into the side. Lloyd Perrott and Sean Lane were named on an extended bench, but both seem unlikely to get game time now that David Klemmer has been cleared from his suspension that he had hanging over his head in regards to the referee touching incidents. With the Eels, Isaac De Gois and David Gower are in. They're in for Nathan Peets and Manu Mao, who are out for injury and suspension respectively. This is a great Sydney matchup with a rivalry that dates back well into the 80s. And I'm really looking forward to a couple of these Sydney matchups that take place this week. The Bulldogs have been on absolute fire, led by Moses Mbai recently. He's absolutely come into his own so far this season. The Eels in their own right, their halves looked really strong in their first proper run together for and Norman last week. However, there are concerns obviously over the ongoing hamstring issues of Kieran Foran, and if he can't last out the full 80 minutes this week, it certainly throws things into a disruptive pattern for the Eels, which might see them battle a little. Even with that taken into consideration, I have lent the Eels here. I like the Eels 1-12. I just think they offer a little bit more out wide. Even though the Dogs rock some star backs, I've gone the Eels 1-12 and will back their back line to get the job done. Shane's also gone that way with the Eels 1-12, so both leaning the upset there. Thanks guys for tuning in to the first part of our Round 3 NRL preview, covering off on the Thursday and Friday games. Keep an eye out for the remaining parts to come out later in the week for the Saturday, Sunday and Monday games. As outlined before, make sure you give us a follow on Facebook, and to keep up to date with all the breaking news and what's going on with opinion pieces on the NRL, make sure to follow me on Snapchat, which you can see on the screen now. Thanks again for tuning in, and we look forward to catching up with you later in the week.